I hate to say it, but the DJI Mini 3 is very unlikely to be released in 2021, and you can blame the Mini 2 for that. If you want to find out why, don't go away. Hey guys, Mike here and welcome back to the channel. Now there's been lots of speculation lately about the potential release of the DJI Mini 3 drone. To be fair, unlike just about every DJI release in the last couple of years, as far as the Mini 3 goes, there have been absolutely no validated leaked information about the drone. There's heaps of speculation and wish lists about what we would like in the Mini 3, but to date there have been no verified photos, videos or specs like there usually is with any new DJI release. Recently there was a supposedly leaked video about the Mini 3, but this turned out to be someone who had mocked up a Mini 2 to look like a new drone that they pretended to be a Mini 3. So unfortunately, all this does indicate that there's no Mini 3 drone on the horizon anytime soon. One saving grace is that the Mini 2 was released in November 2020, so in theory there is still time for a late flurry of activity of leaks, teasers and the launch of products. But unless it does all happen in a bit of a rush, we should probably listen to that little voice at the back of our mind that's telling us it's probably not going to happen this year, right? And if that is the case, I think we can definitely put the blame fair and square in the lap of the Mini 2. So why is that? Well, I have 8 reasons why that is the case. First up, and one of the main reasons, is that the Mini 2 is still selling really well. As far as DJI are concerned, if it's not broken, don't fix it. One of the main reasons companies bring out new and updated products, think Apple, is to keep the sales momentum going. Sales budgets always go up from year to year, right? They never go down. And one way of achieving those budgets is to bring out new products with new features, advertise them well, build the hype, convince people that they can't do without it, and push the products out onto the market. Yes, you could argue that DJI have done just that by releasing the Mini SE, but that has been more about attracting new users into the market. Those people who are first-time drone buyers are not really sure whether they need one or not and aren't wanting to spend a lot of money. Well, all indications are that the Mini 2 is still selling really well. So no need for DJI to push out the Mini 3 just yet. Next up, the competition is just not that great. A lot was made of the release of the Hubsan Mini Pro, and there was lots of speculation that this would force DJI to push ahead and release the Mini 3 because all of the features mooted in the Hubsan drone were all things that people either wanted improved from the Mini 2 or wanted added into a Mini 3. However, it's probably fair to say that the Hubsan Mini Pro has been a little underwhelming. A lot of the features promised are not yet available. The video quality is poor in comparison to the Mini 2, and there have been a number of bugs picked up in the initial release of the product by several reviewers. Now, that doesn't mean to say that these issues won't be fixed or credible competition won't emerge, but one of the things that people do want in a device of this nature is reliability. And most people are very happy with the consistency and reliability of the DJI product. And even though on the surface it doesn't offer exactly the same types of features, I think people would forgo that for something that just works. Now this would have pleased DJI no end and taken a lot of pressure off them in terms of rushing out the Mini 3. Next, people are happy with the Mini 2. The satisfaction ratings for the Mini 2 are very high. I've had so many comments from people saying that they love the Mini 2. Not that they're satisfied with it, that it's okay, or that it's fine, but they love it. Yep, there's always going to be the haters and the people that seem to make it their mission in life to be picky and find something wrong with it. But what I am seeing is an overwhelming satisfaction for the Mini 2 from the vast majority of people that own it. Many are saying that they don't think they will ever need anything else. And for some people, that may well be the case, even if a Mini 3 does come out with more features. Next, people want less, not more. Well, okay, that might be stretching it a little bit in all cases, but my point here relates to a recent opinion video I posted highlighting a comment from one of my viewers that actually having a large, expensive drone with all the bells and whistles versus a smaller, simpler, but still highly capable drone like the Mini 2 makes it less pleasurable to own and fly. Like it or not, when you own or are flying a drone like the Mavic Pro, you do feel the pressure, and in a number of different ways. The first and most obvious one is that the thing costs a lot of money, and if you crash it or lose it, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot to fix it or replace it. The other pressure is that in a lot of ways a drone as capable as the Mavic Pro is too complex. There's so many bells and whistles, extra functions and settings you can use that it can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming versus a Mini 2 where it's a lot more simplified. And then there's the pressure you feel if you have all these bells and whistles at your disposal and you're not using them. You feel like you're not making the most of the extra money you've spent on getting the Rolls Royce. Sometimes choice is a good thing, but other times having a lack of choice is kind of liberating. I'll put a link to that video in the description below. The Mini 2 is a very, very capable drone and for most people has everything they need. Sometimes all we want is to get it up for a quick flight, take a few basic pictures or video, and put it away again. When you have something like the Mini 2, in a sense, you're free from all of the pressures that I mentioned before. We're all programmed to want the next gadget, the latest and greatest version, the version with all the bells and whistles, but you can be more than happy, in a lot of cases even happier, without it. Drones are not what you'd consider an essential item. They are a luxury and take a fair chunk of discretionary income, and that is something that these days people don't have a lot of. Consider those people that bought a Mini 2 over the last few months, or even people that bought it when it first came out in November 2020. Most of them wouldn't be too keen, or even able, to shell out another $600 on an updated drone when they've only had their one a short time. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't want the new drone, but having the resources to actually get it is another thing altogether. Now, earlier I mentioned the Mini SE, a slightly revamped version of the original Mavic Mini, designed to attract new users into the drone market. Well, these people may well be quite interested in the Mini 3 when it does come along for a number of reasons. Most bought the Mini 2 SE on price because they didn't have to risk a massive bundle of cash to try it out. Since then, many have decided that although they love the drone, they probably should have spent a little bit more to get the extra features available in the Mini 2, like the OcuSync transmission system and 4K resolution. Well, since they didn't spend too much money on the Mini SE, they're quite likely to leapfrog the Mini 2 and get the Mini 3 when it does come out to take advantage of those new features. Now, I'm certain DJI have not only been quite surprised at the success and popularity of the Mini 2, but they'll be quite relieved as well. A company like DJI does want some longevity in its products. After all, research and development is expensive, and it certainly wouldn't be their preferred strategy to have to update and roll out new products quicker than they need to. So the more popular the Mini 2 is, and therefore still selling, the longer they have to spend developing and testing the Mini 3 prototype. And the longer they can wait before they feel they need to release the product, the better it is for them. Now, don't get me wrong, all this talk about the Mini 3 not coming out anytime soon may seem a bit defeatist, and I do love the Mini 2 and I'm more than happy with that for some time to come, but I'd love to see what DJI can do with an updated Mini 3 drone, and we'll be very excited if and when we see details start to emerge in the market. I'll be keeping right on top of that, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of those details. Now, the other thing that might prevent a release of the Mini 3 this year is the global shortage of microchips, as Hubsan experienced earlier in the year. I've made a video about that topic that you can check out here. But if you're hell-bent on waiting for the Mini 3 and you want to see what features are the most requested, then check out this video here. Cheers, guys.